Hey, what's going
All
on?
right, all right.
ISUPK reservations. What's going on? Police officer 5000 and Bun, campus school leader, ISUPK Canada, joining me. I'm glad to be hosted by ISUPK reservations. Police officer 1000 Model Ra, joining me here live at the helm. 215 children found dead at Kamloops Residential School. 215 children found dead, man. And what so-called First Nations need to understand is that all of these events were recorded in the Bible. All of these events were recorded to occur to the Israelites here in this captivity. You studied archaeology, those of you that have researched and looked deep into the residential schools, those of you that have researched and looked deep into colonization, etc., what you will find is that what they've done to the First Nations, they've also done to the so-called blacks. What they've done to the First Nations, they've also done to the so-called Latinos. And what happened with the residential school is very, very similar to the school to prison pipeline that they have. Very, very similar to the condition that they keep so-called black people in the ghettos of Calgary, in the ghettos of Winnipeg, in the ghettos of Toronto and Montreal to this day. 215 bodies, some as young as 3 years old here at Kamloops. And we're going to go into, as we're going to touch on this, we're going to show the First Nations that though these things have happened, though we've been destroyed, though these children and young adults, what have you, teenagers, what have you, are dead, they will return. And the people that have murdered them, that have slaughtered them and molested them, they'll be punished for this. We're going to show you the truth about this. But first, before we do anything, make sure you smash that like button, share with everybody on the res, whether they agree with it or not. Whether you agree with it or not, doesn't matter. What we're going to do is we're going to teach the truth in season and out of season to our people, the tribe of Gad as well as the tribe of Reuben. Right? Let me know when you have the story.
Come. I got it right here.
Go ahead.
Says remains of 215 children found buried at former BC residential school, First Nation says.
215 children, 215, the remains of 215 children, First Nations. The only reason that they found this mass grave, okay, the site of this massacre, it went on for decades under the eyes of the Canadian government. The only reason that they found this is because they were doing some sort of survey of the school using ground penetrating radar. They found a whole slew of bones, okay, and teeth and whatnot after performing some ground penetrating radar surveys of the Nations. We have been slaughtered in this place in Canada. And what they've done to us, they'll never be able to amend. And how they treat us to this day should show us that we're still oppressed under the Canadian government. We're still oppressed under the Canadian government. What they do to the First Nations, they would never do to the Asian community. The Asians in the United States, they had an anti-Asian hate crime bill passed. When they're high kicking, they're giving black women the sweet chin music, Officer Madara, giving them the sweet chin music in those damn Asian nail stores, pouring acid on them, every other evil and disgusting thing. But there is no anti-native hate bill passed. There's no bill passed to address the 64,000 missing and murdered Indigenous women. None of that's going on. 215 bodies found, okay, here at this residential school, this so-called residential school. Continue reading. In fact, I think he cut out. In any event, 215 bodies found. What the First Nations must understand is that these things, I'm breaking them bad. All right, I'm gonna come back in a second.